Hello, Internet. This is Confused in My Room, episode 5. Yeah, wow. And this is your host, Yujin, again. Nice to see you guys again. If you're new, welcome. If you're watching this again, thank you. And yeah, let's start this episode. I'm filming this for the third time because I just got a call in the middle of it, just constantly. But you know what? I'm still very excited and hyped for this episode because I'm going to talk about my all-time favorite movie, Carol. Directed by Todd Haynes, starring Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara. It was out in 2015. So, get fastened for how much I'm going to talk about this movie and obsessive I'm going to be. But yes, I'm very excited. I am so hyped. Let's get into it. Okay. So, Carol. Oh my god. This is like the movie that I think I watched it for like 8 times, and yesterday I rewatched again and I just acknowledged, wow, this is my favorite movie. This will be my favorite movie until something more greater than this comes out. And I wish. I'm down for anything, so yeah, but right now this is my just top tier favorite film from all time. Let's talk about it. I'm going to talk about the whole plot from start to finish, so if you're not really into spoilers, you could go watch it and come back, or if you don't mind spoilers, you could just keep watching this. Or for me, I think this is such a detail-oriented film. Like, there's so many little things to be fascinated, not only the whole plot, but like just the glance or just the whole atmosphere of it. So I don't think there's much to spoil about. There are some parts, but yeah. Anyways, do what you want, and let's get started. First of all, how did I get to know this movie? There was an art film cinema near my school, and I think I was 15 at that time, 15, 14, and when I passed the cinema, there was like a huge poster on the wall. There used to be a huge poster on the wall, and now they're like putting commercials for other stuff, but there used to be like only movie posters, and I saw the poster of Carol, and it was probably too close up of the characters put together, and it was just said Carol. And I was not really into it because the whole color was like just yellowish and not really like, something that you get focused right quick. I was like, okay, I guess it's like an art film that I really don't care about. And then probably a year later, I've heard like few things, so many good things about the movie, especially the acting of Cate Blanchett playing Carol. It's insanely great, as always, like as Cate Blanchett plays all the characters in her life, but especially Carol, it's like such a legendary role she got. So that intrigued me and I got to watch it. Holy shit. I was mesmerized. I was crying. I was just stuck with it. The whole probably for a few months, I was like so into that movie and thinking about it so much, listening to the soundtrack and watching a few scenes again and again and again, and even saving the scenes to watch it again. And what part of the movie made me this obsessive? I can't pick. Just the whole movie is a perfect movie, in my opinion. And for more information, this is a movie that is based of a book by Patricia Highsmith, The Price of Salt. And there's few different details from the book and the movie. I read the book. It's brilliant. It's almost the same, but like how the characters have different jobs, and there's some few like excluded scenes, and I think still the movie did such a great, incredible job for adapting the book, because they added the perfect details and they excluded some scenes, some like parts of the book, but it really just made the movie as it is. It's Carol, it is the book, but still the movie feels kind of different, and I really love that part. But it's still based on the book, and the plot is almost the same, but yeah, let's talk about it. That's how I got to know the movie, and I'm just gonna tell you the story and the plot of the movie right quick using ChatGPT. I didn't really know how to like summarize it well than this, so I'm just gonna read it. Carol tells the story of a forbidden love between two women in 1950s New York. Tara Spelevet, a young aspiring photographer, works at a department store during the Christmas season. One day, she encounters Carol Aird, a glamorous older woman shopping for her daughter. The two share a brief conversation, and Carol leaves behind her gloves, giving Tara an excuse to reconnect. Stop. Excuse to reconnect. This part. I was kind of confused. At the first time when they shared a glance, their first look of each other, I was like, okay, I feel it. I feel the energy between them. I already know they're just stuck into each other, because like you can know from their like slight glance, you can feel. That's how much good of the actors did with this job, and even like the director making them do that. But still, Rooney Mara and Cate Blanchett is... I can't think of another actor playing the characters because they're so just perfect for this one. Anyways, when the summary says the excuse to reconnect, she left her gloves. At like few first times, I was not sure if she was actually having a rough time and like she was busy for something and left it on like an accident, or is she like wanting to reconnect and putting it. But more I get to watch it, Carol is a woman who could just, make a chance to see Therese again. She wanted to see her again. She felt it. So I think it is an excuse to reconnect. Okay, I'm going to continue with the plot. As their friendship develops, it turns into a romantic affair. However, Carol is in the midst of a bitter divorce with her husband, Harge, who becomes increasingly suspicious of their relationship. Harge uses their daughter, Rindy, as leverage in the divorce, threatening to expose Carol's sexuality to gain full custody. Harge is a piece of shit. I mean, sometimes I get it because he is, anyways, Carol's husband. He could be jealous, but still, he's very conservative, and just there's so many toxic traits you could just feel by interactions with Carol. He wants like full control for his wife, and I don't think that's how a healthy marriage should work. So anyways, faced with societal judgment and personal stakes, Carol and Therese embark on a road trip where they grow closer but are also trailed by a private investigator hired by Harge. Okay, I'm going to talk about more details inside. So Therese is in her early 20s, and as the story said, Carol is in her 30s or mid 30s or 40s or something. They have a huge age gap, and they are like facing different problems with their life. But Therese, especially, she's very confused about her future, obviously, as you should be in your early 20s. And she's like not always sure about things, especially with the things with her boyfriend. She has a boyfriend. And when the boyfriend like asks her to go to Europe or get to meet his family, like some things that make their relationship more deeper, Therese really isn't sure about anything, and she mostly denies the things. But when Carol, the person who she just met, asked her to go on a road trip with her for like a month, she's like, okay, just right away, okay, I want to go with you. And that's the point. You could clearly know when you actually love someone or you're into them and you know it, the whole situation is just gets so clear for yourself too. It's not something you think about because you feel it and you know it and you want it. And I think that's like a very important scene and a line. You could just feel how Therese feel for Carol and how it's like the first thing she's so sure about in her life, I guess. Okay, let's continue. So when Carol's affair with Therese is discovered because of the private investigator Harge hired, she is forced to choose between her daughter and her relationship with Therese. In the end, Carol decides to fight for her independence, even if it means sacrificing custody of her daughter. The film concludes with Therese gaining confidence in her own identity and Carol inviting her back into her life, leaving the possibility of their future together open-ended. Yes, this was the short summary of the story. There's a lot of details missing, but to see it is like more clearly. It starts from them meeting and going to a road trip and ending them with a short time of breakup and then meeting again. And wow, I really don't know where to start. Let's start from the beginning. The opening scene. The opening scene starts from the end of the story. So you get to see the scene again in the start and the finish. So in the start, you have no context of Carol and Tara's character at all. They're just talking. But in the end, you're seeing the scene again with every knowledge between the movie. And you can feel how incredibly vulnerable and intense the scene was. And you rethink about the whole thing again. You get to rethink about it. And it fucks you up. It really fucks you up. But still, in a good way. You can just... It just punches you in the fucking heart. And I loved it. I love that part. From the start to finish, it's a perfect movie with every frame being beautiful. Because every single scene and frame, the whole blocking, the whole background actors, or just the details of the costume or the props, or like everything is beautiful. It's incredible. How could you like make something so fucking beautiful? This movie is beautiful. Like, not the actors just being looking great, or I'm not talking about that. Like, every single thing just matches up and it flows like something that it's an art piece. It's fucking an art piece. Yeah. Okay. Do you see how much I love this movie by just expressing it? It's that much good. It's that good. And yeah. I wanted to point some details of it. I want to talk about some scenes that I really, really loved, and I'm rewatching it again and again and again. There's scenes that Therese gets to photograph Carol because she's an aspiring photographer, but she really didn't used to take pictures of people, but Carol was like the first person who she got like interested in to take a picture, and you can just feel the love through the viewpoint of Therese when she like takes pictures of every moment when she thinks Carol is obviously beautiful. And those scenes when Therese gets like shows the picture, or even the process of the film things and all the stuff. I really like that scene. And the next one is when Therese and Carol in the middle of the road trip, she gives a vinyl as a present to Carol, and she's like really excited for her to open up, and they're like having some soup and coffee, and it's just like the most coziest diner ever. And when Carol opens up the present and Therese's face is just full of joy giving gifts like that, wow, it's so good. It's so good. And I watch that scene probably like once a week because it makes me feel so comfy and full of joy, and it's probably the most beautiful thing. Yeah, that's one of the scenes I really love. And next one, I got to think about the scene a lot after having my own experience of a heartbreak. How Rooney Mara portrayed the emptiness and just full of sorrow in her eyes and her voice and everything. There's two moments when Therese's character gets like a really hard time. First is when, after Therese like getting to watch Carol and her husband fighting, and Carol had to like rush Therese out of her house, and she was kind of, you know, obviously stressed out and was slightly mean to Therese. And when Therese like is going back home, she just like tears up in a train. In that moment, I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. That feeling, I know that feeling, and it's exactly that. She just portrays the exact emotion in that scene, and I just felt it. She's so good. Yeah, she's so good. And the next scene, are you guys following me? Am I just rambling? I don't really know. Like, I should be more clear about the parts, but it's just popping off my head and I have to speak about it, so I'm sorry if you're a little confused, but I'll try my best to kind of make it clear what I'm talking about. And the other scene that she has a heartbreak, this one is a big one. Carol had to leave for the custody battle in the middle of the road trip, and she left Therese with Abby, one of her friends that she's really close with, to, you know, pick her up and bring her back to her house, because she couldn't do that. She had to leave in the middle of it. So when Therese wakes up after, when she spent night with Carol, and Carol was not there and Abby was there, and she had to go back home with Abby, Therese was just teared apart. She was like, she felt so guilty, like it's her fault that Carol was losing custody for her daughter. And Carol left like a letter for Therese, and she said, we have to like take our time because I can't meet you for a while. And it was almost a breakup. In that moment, every single scene, Therese like looks at a window or is looking just nowhere, full of sorrow and just torn up. And holy shit, her eyes, man, the intensity of like feeling, just getting hurt. Even watching it makes my heart hurt, but like you could just feel how hurt and messed up she is. And that was probably like one of my favorite scenes, and especially something I experienced too. So that scene, those two heartbreak scenes were like really recently in my mind, and I constantly rewatched again. And if I have to choose a scene, my favorite scene, it's still the happy moments, but for the sad moments, it's always stuck in my head. So yeah, that's that. And let's talk about the final scene, the last scene. Carol reconnects with Therese after the whole custody battle ends, and she cannot erase Therese too, because it was true fucking love. How could you erase someone if you love someone still? And she gets to meet Therese again and ask her to live with her. I mean, wow. After breaking Therese's heart like that, and I think some parts, like, Carol was being... I mean, I think she was doing her best for her circumstances, but still, she was pretty harsh in some moments. Like, I get it, she's going through, like, a incredibly harsh divorce, but she's in love with Therese too. It's not only Therese being in love with Carol, she's in love with Therese too. She has to be more clear and a little more open to Therese. But I guess she was kind of scared of the whole thing too. And yeah, anyway, she asked her to live in her apartment together, because after the divorce, she's like having a whole other life again. And Therese says, she doesn't say like, no, fuck off, but like she's pretty angry too, and she says like, I'm not sure about that. And Carol kind of realizes how she fucked up, how she will be in love with Therese too. And at that moment, she just like automatically says, she can't control but to say, I love you to her. And in the middle of that, some fucking dude comes in and interrupts the conversation. So they say bye to each other, and like Carol like just says something, you can come over to this party that I'm gonna go at like somewhere sometime. But Therese is like, okay, I don't know, I'm going to be there, but okay. And they separate in their own paths. In the last scene, in the final scene, Therese goes to the party to meet Carol because she still loves her. After all the breakups and the fucking terrorizing heartbreaks, she still loves Carol. Yeah, so she goes there, and Carol is talking to other people in a table, and Therese is looking for Carol, and they get to see each other's eyes again, like the first time they met, just sharing glances. Fuck me, man. That moment, there's no lines, but the eyes, just Carol has the eyes of like relieved, but she knew that Therese will be back. It's kind of cocky to be like that, but like, it's love. Come on, it's love. It's true love. And Therese being like, oh God, I'm going for this again, but I truly love her. So you can just feel a whole dialogue with just glances. And wow, that's how the movie ends. The ending credit comes up. Get the hell out of here. How could you make something so beautiful, Todd Haynes? Todd Haynes, answer me. How could you make something so brutally beautiful? Not just like that. You can't just make something so beautiful. I think it's like the perfectly beautiful movie. And yeah, that was all the scenes I loved. Probably there's so much more, but if I have to like kind of summarize it, the first time they met, and when Therese is taking photos of Carol, and when Therese and Carol shares a present in a diner, and two heartbreak moments, and the last scene. Yes, yes, sir. Wow. Please watch it. Please watch it. Please. And this is definitely a winter movie. This is like based on the holiday season from Christmas to New Year's. And like the winter 1950s New York, just like the fog coming out of the trains fucking things, and just kids running around and people with like coats and warm jackets, and the snow, and everything's so perfect. Everything is so perfect. And if you're down for a heartbreaking love story with a slight happy ending, I guess, go watch Carol. And if you're gay, but if you didn't watch Carol, there's a problem. If you're a girl who like girls and you did not watch Carol, come on, get a grip. Just go watch it tonight. Just go watch it, please go watch it, please go watch Carol, please. I'm begging you, it's so good. You will not regret. If you do regret, I do want to know why you did not like it. The age gap, probably. I mean, does the age gap bothers you? She's not a minor. She's all grown up. And there's no, like, forcing anything. Carol does not force anything. She's totally, like, considering Therese as... She knows she's young. And she considers that a lot, I think, in some moments. And especially in the book, it shows a lot of the concerns, but in the movie, I think there's a lot of part more like cut up, and Carol's characters kind of gets more vulnerable a lot, so you get to see that. Wow. I yapped. I talked. There's so much more things I want to talk about, and I have like 3 posters in my room for Carol. I'll show you the pictures of it here, and every time I look at it, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm a big fan of Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara, but I think it's their best character, the best role they have played. I don't know if it's my own opinion, but yeah. And Todd Haynes, I love him. I think he makes such a good character-based movie. Like, the plot is good too, but like the details he gets and the slight breathing or just one line, he makes it full of emotions, and I love that. I love it. I am in love with this movie. Gosh, I don't think there will be another movie that would make me feel the same emotion I've watched Carol. Oh, there is actually one. It's not this intense, but it's one of the movies I love, is The Portrait of a Lady on Fire by Celine Sciamma. That one has a similar vibe, but it's very different from each other, and it's less dramatic, I guess. Carol, even though it's like a more art film type movie, it's a pretty big production, and there's a lot of things going on, so don't worry if you think you're gonna be bored. I don't think you're gonna get bored. There's pretty much a lot of things happening, so yeah. Carol Aird and Therese Belivet, even their name, man. Why is it so good? Why is every single part about this movie so good? God damn it. I am in love with this movie. Oh, and one of the good things about this movie is, even though it's directed by a male director and there are some sex scenes in this movie, I do not feel any like forced feeling of the sex scenes, because these days there's so many unnecessary sex scenes that should be in a film or not, or like TV shows. I think there are some movies that uses the lesbian relationship for, sexual scenes, especially the warmest color, blue. Fuck that movie. The director, the piece of shit who used Adele and Léa Seydoux like that, like, oh no, I do not want someone exploited for a movie. Come on, you're living life. That's violence. That is not okay. And to be totally honest, I like the movie except the sex scenes. This is another topic to talk about. Let's just talk about it later. But okay, so what I wanted to say is that Carol does not exploit the actors or the usage of sex scenes. It's just totally okay amount of intimacy and the love you can show. And I love that part. I love it. Okay. I am out of breath talking about it. Oh my fucking god. Those are the things I loved about Carol. Please go read the original book, The Price of Salt by Patricia Highsmith, and the movie by Todd Haynes. My god, I even fucking bought the script. Voila, the script. I couldn't finish the script. It's too beautiful to. But yeah, the gloves in the background. Do you see that? Oh, so good. Based on Patricia Highsmith's novel, The Price of Salt, a film by Todd Haynes. Oh, and I should definitely talk about the writer of the movie, Phyllis Nagy. Yeah. And the screenplay, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Are you kidding me? There's an English version and a Korean version, and holy shit, I have to watch it again soon. God, I'm gonna cry. Oh. And it's so much fun to see like the details and the scenes that are not included in the movie, but it was in the screenplay. But oh god, it's so good. It's so good. It's such a great movie. Oh, I'm in love with this movie, man. Okay, that's it. Done with Carol. Talking about Carol. I could like talk about it in the future episode again, but still, for today, it's done. Let's talk about my life update right quick. I finished my crush because I heard that she's dating someone, and when I heard that, honestly, I was in shock, but I was kind of expecting something to happen. So I'm pretty okay. Let's talk about this later more, but when I heard it, I was pretty torn down. Yeah, I was hurt, but what can I do? She does not like me, so I'm just starting to admitting the situation and my feelings more. So I deleted all the related stuff, and I'm really gonna put boundaries for myself. Yeah. So my intense crush has finished. Let's see what's gonna happen more in my life for the future, and I'm gonna be more opened up as a person and focused on my life. Oh, and in the movie when Therese gets heartbreak at the end of it, she gets to stay like totally busy to kind of, stop the thoughts about Carol and the situation, and that made me think a lot too. I should be more focused in my life. It's a very important time, early 20s, even though people say like you're still young, but I have to do my shit and find my stuff. So yeah, that's that. Movies help, as I said in the last episode. For healing, movies do help. Gives a great lesson even though you don't have to go it through yourself. You get to see the other experiences and learn. So yeah, that's that. Guys, so today's media, I'm probably going to recommend some few songs I've been listening to. Okay. This is such a classic song, like everybody knows it, but Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. I've been listening to that on repeat. I don't know why, I just got stuck into it. That one and the Carol official soundtrack, the movie soundtrack, is incredibly good, and there's a vinyl that I said that Therese gives to Carol. I searched the vinyl and it's a real vinyl in life, and I've been listening to that too. It's on YouTube, so go check that out. And more songs I listen to. Oh, I've been listening to Lord's album. It's fall. It's Lord Fall, I guess. A lot of just classic Lord songs. Ribs, Supercut, Greenlight, those stuff. Yeah, that's probably going to be today's media. Thank you so much for watching. I am very happy to introduce my favorite film, and I wish you guys go check it out if you haven't watched it, or if you already watched it, I wish this gets to be an opportunity for you to rewatch it. Yes. Have a great day, and I wish everybody found their own true love in their life. And as you can tell by me talking, I am a romanticist. I found love as the most important part of life. Yes. Is that a little toxic for you to live through? It is. It's pretty hard. But I love myself. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. This was episode 5 of Confused in My Room. Bye.